Hello
and welcome
to
Ruining
the Holidays
with...
Hadas.
That's it. That's all we have here.
Where's Hadas? I can't see her.
So today we'll be ruining another Jewish holiday.
Purim.
Purim. And as you might have gathered from our lovely ensemble, it's our version of Halloween, or Halloween is a version of our Purim, or whatever. I don't know which came first. Probably neither. Probably they're both derived from like pagan holidays.
Perhaps. But we'll find out today what the story of Purim is, and we'll tell you all about it.
אני פורים, שמח ומבדח, הלא רק פעם בשנה אבוא להתארח. לה 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 לה. הידר פורים, הכו טוב ומצלתיים, ומי ייתן ובפורים לחודש לחודשיים. לה 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 לה
Hello, it's us. Hi. Yeah, we're back. We're here. You might have not recognized us without our faces. Okay. So, Purim, it's actually 2 days from now, which means you'll probably see this video after Purim, but that doesn't matter because it's not like we're known for being professional
Or accurate.
Accurate. So yeah, it's just one of those holidays, one of those Jewish holidays that Dust told you what Jewish holidays are like.
The basis for all holidays, almost, is that they had tried to kill us. They did not succeed. Thank God. Let's eat.
And this is just one more.
Of those?
Mhm.
Except in this one, we drink a lot more than we eat. So,
That is correct. We do.
yeah.
Okay, so where does this story even come from? Is it from the Bible?
It is from the book that is the Bible, but it's one of the added scripts.
It's an addendum to the Bible.
That's the word.
And yeah, it's called the Book of Esther. And you may know it because you may know the Bible. It's one of those things that
World famous.
bestseller. But in case you don't, or in case you're not forced to read the Book of Esther every year, and when I say forced, I mean do it very willingly, we shall tell you about the story of Esther and the story of the time they tried to kill us and did not succeed. Or at least one of them. Okay, so let's begin. When are we?
A long time ago. That's the only thing I don't remember.
Where are we?
We're in Persia, which is over there.
Good. So now that you have the directions,
Yes.
you can get there if you wanna.
We're in the kingdom of Persia, in the city of Shushan.
Yeah, but it's like a huge kingdom. It's like when the Roman Empire was an empire, then Before that, Persia was an empire. It has 127 kingdoms
Yes.
in it. So it was pretty huge, but the story takes place in the capital city of Persia, which is Shushan.
Shushan.
And of course, in the capital city lies the king. And the king, oh my god, that's a hard name.
Achashverosh.
The king
You remember that sound you love so much?
Yes.
Achashverosh
That's his
is
name.
the king in Shushan.
He's
There's
the
a
king
lot
of all Persia, and he sits in Shushan, and it's the 3rd year of his reign. And, you know, he's quite a new king, but not new enough to rule or anything. Like, he's over that whole part where you actually, you know, think you're gonna do stuff. So, he decides to have a big party.
Big party. Big feast.
Like, that lasted days.
Yeah, like 7 days. Which is about 6 days over the recommended amount of feasting days.
Yes, maybe 6.5.
Maybe
even.
6.5. And he brings all this bling. And he organizes his house to look really nice, and the interior design is shit.
It is. We actually it's described in the Book of Esther. Has a really nice description of the interior, and it's like all gold and turquoise and it's really in bad taste.
So much
seriously.
green, yeah.
But you know, he has wealth. He wants to show it. Understandable. Not everyone is king, and not everyone should be king. And in his case, I'm not so sure, because in the last day of feasting, he decides to ask, or maybe not ask, more like command his wife to come over. She has her own feast. She has a feast for the women of the realm, and he has a feast for the men of the realm. I mean, not everyone from the realm. I'm guessing it's the
people
important
who
guys.
Yeah.
And he decides to call her up from her female feastings to prance around the male feast to you know, show her beauty. He wanted to show off his trophy wife, basically.
Yep. And he told her to come scantily clad so that her body would be visible.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, fuck no.
Do you think I'm your plaything? Do you think that I'm a mannequin? Do you think that all I have is my looks and that's my merit in life? I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm not gonna do this. So yeah, Vashti, that's his name, the name of his wife. She was basically the first feminist, and she refused to have her husband take charge of her body. She decided that she will not stand for it. So, obviously, in response,
He made her not the queen anymore.
yeah, he kind
And
of
kicked her out.
Kicked her out.
But, as we were discussing earlier, it's kind of cool that she could be de-queened, but not murdered. Cool is a weird word to use. But you'd expect that if you're like, you know...
You know,
you
like
just
the
kick someone
Anglican
out.
Church.
Yeah. It could have saved...
How it was formed because that guy
If
wanted
only-
to divorce his wife
If
to marry
only
someone
Henry
else.
VIII would have known that it was a
Henry
possibility.
VIII, yeah.
And it was a possibility.
He could have gotten some tips from Achashverosh. Some useful tips.
So she's not the queen anymore.
She was dethroned and actually
Exiled?
exiled, yes. So she took herself and her historically premature feminism and
her gorgeous body.
really
Away.
gorgeous. We don't know what that means though, gorgeous body, because we're not sure when we are, so
No.
it changes with the... Anyhow. My flower wilted. think it's about that time. Look, it's all sad flower. Show off.
Plastic is forever.
So yeah, now a king needs a queen. You know,
So they say.
who said that?
Now, as the king, you will have to marry. Do you understand why?
The king needs a queen.
Yes, but why? To further the family line.
Anyhow, a king needs a queen, and Achashverosh didn't have his queen no more. So yeah, naturally he took every virgin,
Every
nice
good-looking
looking
virgin.
in the country, in the all of the countries, all of the kingdoms. His assistants gathered them up, all of fucking them. So there must have been
A lot.
over 10 or 20 or something. Like a lot of girls. I'm guessing there was an age limit too, but maybe it's included in the nice looking or whatever. I don't want to be ageist, but maybe he was. Any case, he put them in a beauty salon for 12 months. 12 months of intense makeover, intense beautifying.
We had a
thingy.
serious conversation about what could you improve in 12 months that you couldn't do in one.
Or in like a week. Like, okay, so you wanna beautify someone,
Yes.
and those are girls from all of the kingdoms. So some of them must have been from the lower tiers of society.
Yes.
Which is another progressive thing, because a king marrying someone who's low-born is not something that,
Well, as long as you're pretty.
as long as and a virgin.
And a virgin.
And by the way, did they perform an exam to see?
Maybe that's what took so long. Maybe that's what took 12 months.
No, but they said specifically in the book that it was 12 months of beautifying. So like,
Maybe.
okay, you wanna if you saw the Hunger Games, you know, there's this montage of Katniss having her leg hair pulled out and her body cleaned and whatever, because she's from District 12 and they're coal miners and they're dirty, so like she never bothered to you know, pluck her eyebrows or wash. So she needed that beautifying
Yes.
makeover, whatever, before she went to the capital. But I don't know, from that montage it looked like it took I don't know, a day or two.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need is a shower and
Some
a good... What's it called?
plucking device.
Yes.
Some hot wax,
Yeah.
whatever. And I don't know, that maybe they put some, maybe they had like like hard feet, so they needed to put
scrub.
feet cream and scrub out the skin. Or but again, 12
What do you do in 12 months? Tell us in like...
maybe they fed them. Maybe beautiful was a little fatter than what we're
Maybe
used
if they
to.
were like, yeah, low class. Then
and they
didn't
were
have enough
skinny. Maybe they fed them for a year until they
But
were
also for that.
plump enough.
food. I mean, with the right like amount of food, you could get plump in a month.
Yeah, but you got stretch marks.
Hmm.
You don't want that.
Okay.
So yeah, 12 fucking months, which you know is exactly how you know a man wrote this story, because it doesn't take 12 months. But after those 12 months, they took the candidates and they walked them in front of the king, and he had to choose. So we were saying that there must have been many.
Yes.
So what was the choosing process?
Well, I'm guessing he just sat around and people wrote down like who they were. And
I mean, did they have like numbers on their necks? Like
maybe
dangling? Or did they have a panel of judges and everyone was like 9, 8, 7, and someone would sum up the numbers and then there would be semi-finals and finals.
maybe this seems like the best way to do it.
Because there's a lot of girls,
Yeah.
and you can't remember. I mean, it must have taken days for all of them to walk next to the king, and for the king to... I mean, he wouldn't remember the girl from day 1 and the girl from day 8. And
Yeah. Maybe they went by and he was like, nope, 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 nope. And then he went, that one, put her aside. And that one, put her aside.
Okay. So
And then they went by and he went, nope, 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 nope.
that actually makes sense. So, like, he had a very specific taste.
Maybe.
Okay, so one of those women was Esther. And Esther was the niece of Mordechai. Or Mordecai. You would know him as Mordecai, but it's Mordechai, actually. And it's not Esther, it's
Esther.
Mordechai was Jewish, living in Shushan.
He worked in the palace.
He worked in the palace as like an assistant, sort of. And Esther was his niece. Her parents were dead. Some of the versions say that they were together, Esther and Mordechai. Some of them say that they weren't.
But the most popular is that he's her uncle.
Yeah. No, he's her uncle anyway. But some of them say that they were like Targaryens, incestuous and whatever. He might have been like her second uncle or third uncle, because uncle and niece is still incest, and incest is forbidden in Judaism. That incest specifically is forbidden. So you don't know if he was her third uncle or her first uncle, but he was her uncle. And she was, I think, pretty young. We don't know exactly how young, but all the ladies were pretty young because, you know, the king needs a new queen. And so when she was taken as one of the pretty virgins for the king, Mordechai told her not to reveal the fact that she is Jewish. In all those 12 months of primping, is that the word?
No.
What's the word?
Pampering.
No, pampering is to be pampered, but primping, I think, I was going for, I don't know if it's the word, but I was going for, כמו לפדל את האף כזה. If it's a word, let us know. If it's not, let us know that it's not. Or if you have an alternative word to teach us foreigners, then please do. So
she's not supposed to reveal during beauty camp that she's Jewish.
Or ever, actually.
Or ever. Yes.
Beauty camp.
1 year. Sit around at beauty camp. Eat food. Have your eyebrows plucked daily. Sounds like fun. So she's not supposed to reveal that she's Jewish.
And, well, who did the king choose after all of that?
Well, he went through all the nice women, all the prettiest eligible women,
And
virgins.
Simon cowled their S. Like, seriously.
So he went through all of the women from 127 countries, and alas, he chose Estelle.
She apparently was to his taste.
She was supposed to be very beautiful, and
Obviously, he had her nose done before, maybe in beauty camp.
you put it down a bit, organize it.
Organize it.
get it together, reshape it. So yes, she was chosen, and she becomes the new queen.
All hail the new Queen Esther.
Ooh. So, sometime later, Mordechai hears two people talking,
He lives in the palace
He lives in the
too, just like Esther does.
and he hears two people. I don't remember their names.
Bigtan and Teresh.
Bigtam and Teresh.
He hears them what? Talking?
He hears them planning to kill the king.
Yeah, they were plotting.
Plotting.
Arya listening to Illyrio and Varys plotting, saying that the lion is
Yes.
at the throat of the whatever.
Yes.
But since he wasn't a little girl, people actually took his word for it.
So he went to Estelle and told her about it, right? Did he go
I don't
to-
remember. He went to someone and told them about it because Estelle wasn't the one who saved the king. Maybe she was involved.
Maybe she was
somehow.
involved,
But
but
he told the guards or
he
whatever.
told someone, and they took him seriously. And so he told someone that there was plotting against the king, and the king is grateful.
Not yet.
Not yet.
The king was like, "Oh, cool! I was saved from death. Write it down in the history book.
Yes.
That's very nice." And Mordechai was like, "That's very nice." Okay, man, whatever. I'm just saved your fucking life, but sure. And Hashvarosh was like, nice is a good word. I didn't say it was fine. I didn't say it was like medium rare. I didn't say it was above average. I said nice. You
It's a
don't.
nice thing of him to do.
Yeah. And Mordechai was like, sure, fine, great. Yeah, gonna go now. Just this shit is not for me. But in any case, that's a thing that happened. And you know, the book has a lot of tangent stories that seem tangential, but they're not, because everything actually comes into the story later. But this story happened, and we were putting it aside for a while and going into another story, which will come to be important later.
Yes.
And the other story is that the king had an advisor. This advisor was called
Haman.
Later known as Haman the Evil. Spoiler. So Haman was the king's advisor, and he was kind of shady, but the king didn't really notice that he was shady. Something that's really, really familiar of the story of Aladdin,
Like
you know,
Jafar?
the king in Aladdin and Jafar, that's exactly like that, because
Yeah.
the king in Aladdin is a Persian king, and he's like chubby and good-natured and kind of silly, and doesn't notice that his best advisor is shady as fuck.
Yes. So there's Haman, and he is the king's advisor.
Like the
And
hand
the
of
top
the king.
hand of the king, top advisor. And he thinks so highly of himself, and makes everyone think so highly of him, that he wants everyone to bow to him
When they see him.
when they see him. Every time he walks by, everyone's gonna be all like, bow down. Now, in Judaism, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're
You're
not
not
allowed
allowed
to bow to anyone but God. Not to kings, nor to king's advisors, nor to give
Statues
someone a
random.
blowjob, nothing.
Especially don't give statues a blowjob. That could be cold.
Yes.
So one day he's walking and everyone is bowing down to him, but Mordechai won't bow down to him
Yeah,
because
he remains standing.
he remains standing because he's Jewish and he doesn't bow down.
Not allowed to. It's not his fault. You know, religious freedom, guys.
He does not kneel.
It's important.
And so Haman is like, dude, I'm like the coolest, the most important. Everyone's got to bow down to me, and if you do not bow down to me,
You're gonna
I'm gonna
regret
kill
it. You're gonna be sorry. that you didn't bow down to me. Not cool, man. Not cool at all.
Yep.
And Mordechai is like, can't. He's not saying that he's Jewish and that's why he can't do it. So it only seems like he won't do it.
Yes.
Because if he says that he's Jewish, I don't know. They didn't really like Jews back then. It's a thing. I mean, now we're so well liked everywhere, and always been. But that specific time in history, people didn't like Jews very much. So
Ever since, everything's been going wonderful.
Peachy.
It's the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So
Haman gets pretty upset with Mordechai, and he does a little digging. He decides to see who that guy is, do a background check, and realizes that he's Jewish. And instead of doing a little more digging and realizing that the fact that he's Jewish prevents him from bowing down, he just goes, oh, well, let's just kill all the Jews then.
logical.
That is the natural conclusion, and that's what he decides to do. And Haman has the king's ring, the king's seal, which is on his ring, and he writes a presidential kingly warrant to say that the Jews should be dead. But before that, he
Yes.
Mapil Pur. Wow, how would you say that?
It's kind of important. That's the name of the holiday, isn't it? Isn't it like גורל, כאילו גורל, זה כמו להטיל מטבע כזה, לא? כאילו הוא בוחר ככה, הוא בוחר את היום. לא? Sorry.
Wait, we need to Google that for a second. It casts lots. That's the word.
Yes, because when you plan a genocide, you have to have it organized all in one day.
And it's the 13th day of the month Adar, which is, I think it was Persian back then, but now we took it. And it's a Hebrew.
Part of the Hebrew calendar.
Lunar calendar. So he takes the parchment and writes down royal decree to on the 13th of Adar, you all are going to slaughter all of the Jews that are around you, that you know, take their shit and be happy about it. Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah. So he sent out that letter, and it was cool.
To all of the
Everybody
kingdom,
was cool.
he sealed it with the king's ring, and everything was going according to his plan. So that's it. That's how the story ends. He killed all the Jews, and we're the ghosts of Purim's past.
We died in the last episode, if you don't remember. We are no longer living. We are all just
Vampires. We said we were vampires, and we should stick to that.
yes.
Anyway. So what happened next?
I feel like there was another feast.
No, before
Not
the
yet.
feast, they hear about it. Mordechai and,
Yes, and Esther.
Esther, because it's
They live
kind
in
of
the
a
kingdom, and
well-known
they,
thing.
Yes, and there was a letter sent out to fucking everyone, so they heard about it, and they were like, "Shit, that's our
that's
that's our people.
suboptimal.
It's suboptimal. That's all our people, and we don't want them to all be dead."
Or us,
Or
by
us.
the way.
I mean, Esther, she's just like she's a good person, so she wants. Because she could have saved herself. I mean,
That's right.
it is the right thing. Yeah, but nobody knew she was Jewish, and it just would have meant that her uncle and everyone else would have died, which Fun stuff.
But she didn't just say, okay, I'm going to save everyone. Mordechai had to convince her. He had to give her a stern talking to, and tell her, you have to do something. Because you're the fucking queen, so you must have some power to prevent this shit from happening. And she was like, well, I can't just come up to the king and tell him stuff, because back then, you couldn't just come up to the king. If the king didn't invite you, you couldn't like call his secretary and schedule an appointment. You had to come to him, to his chambers, and he would decide whether he wants to see you or not. But if he wanted to see you, he would do this motion with his Shilvit Shelamelech.
Like a scepter? Or...
The thing that the king would hold. That looks like a wand, but
it's a wand,
apparently
basically.
he would do that, and you'll be accepted. And if he didn't want to see you, and you came over, and he was like, I don't want to see you, he would do that with his wand, and you would be put to death. Because there isn't a compromise between...
Also, just logical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he couldn't just tell you, go away. He couldn't just punish you for, like, I don't know, give you bad foot massage. I don't know. It's just either he wants to see you or you're dead. So obviously Estelle was quite apprehensive, and Mordechai had to like convince her to actually go and see the king and ask him for that.
Yes.
And she was scared, but she was like, okay, I'm willing to do this, but you and all of the other Jews in the kingdom are gonna have to fast for 3 days and nights before I do that, because if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna need God on my side.
And so they did. And then before Purim...
And she did too, by the way.
She did too. And Mordechai wears like a sack. And
Like
he's
brief
right there.
clothes,
Yes.
and he doesn't shave, he doesn't wash, he doesn't clip his ear hair.
Yes. Doesn't clean his nose. And
There's this machine that old men used to do the thing on their nose.
really?
Yeah, the hair and the nose, and it's kind of like a buzzing thing, and you put it in, and it's really unhealthy.
Your brain is right there.
Yeah, and that's not why it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy because it clips all of the hair, so you don't have any protection from germs and whatever, because the
Your
hair
brain is right there.
No, but the hair is supposed to protect you from germs. They get stuck in there, and like if you wanna advice for all the guys out there.
Well, women have hair on their nose too.
Yeah, but guys have more, and usually they have
It
like,
grows out more.
It grows out, and it merges with the mustache, and it becomes
Curl
this
it.
whole fuss of grossness. But not grossness. It becomes this whole fuss of something that might be perceived as gross.
Yes. Not by us, though.
Yeah, not by us. We love nose hair.
Our
But
favorite.
if you are insistent on getting rid of your nose hair, don't do it all the way with that machine. Just do the outside thingies, and that's enough. That's enough. You don't want all of the germs to get into your nose canal and ear canal and brain canal and make you all dead. That's just a general health advice. And also, Oyster just paged me to say that you should hydrate and take your vitamins. So, there. Anyway, back to the story. Mordechai didn't clip his nose hair because he was mourning.
Yes.
He was fasting and whatever.
Yes.
And after those 3 days,
After those 3 days, Esther goes to the king. And he lets her in.
yeah.
Because she's his wife.
Which,
She's like, hey, do I know you?
yeah, and
Come on in.
I'm kind of wondering, because like she is his fucking wife. Didn't he see her on those 3 days of fasting? And I'm guessing there were more days before the fasting, after fasting. I don't know. It was like at least a week of what? They didn't see each other for a week.
Because, like, I mean, maybe they don't have, like, a chamber together. but
I
have to
don't
fuck
know,
sometimes.
do they have breakfast together, or
Maybe
yeah,
not.
have intercourse together, or
They just didn't see each other for so long, and then she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come into your room." And he was like, "Cool, I'm not gonna kill you."
yeah, it's nice to see you, wifey, because I didn't see you for at least a week. And he says, "What do you want? I'm gonna give it to you."
We didn't think of all the translations. We didn't think this through.
Up to half my kingdom I will give to you.
Yes.
Something like that. It would translate to up half my kingdom.
Half of the sort of it's half of my like
royalty.
royalty.
I will give you all that I've got, but like half of it.
Up to half of
Up
it.
to.
Not half of it, like up to.
And
It
that's
could be just a
considered to be like a lot.
Yeah, it's like a sign of
Come on, ask me anything.
respect. I'm
I'm gonna give it to you because yeah,
yes.
I'm pretty cool with you being my wife and everything.
Yes.
Anyway, and Estelle, she knew she was a smart cookie, so she knew not to just go up to the king and be like, so you know how I'm your wife? You don't know my ethnic or religious background, by the way. So I'm Jewish, and your top guy wanted to kill the Jews, so please cancel that. She couldn't just do that. So her ask from the king was to come to a feast of food and drink and pleasantries, and also to bring his top guy to the feast. And Achashverosh was like, that's what he wanted to ask of me? I mean, I was willing to give you half my kingdom.
Yeah,
and
you're just
you just want to
feast.
invite
I love
me
feasts
to
anyway.
a feast.
I just feast all the time.
Exactly. So he probably knew that something was going on, that she wanted something else. But he was like, okay, sure, I'm coming, and I'm gonna bring my men then. And so they did.
They did. They had a feast.
It was fun.
Yep. Cool.
And Aman was like really, really honored to be invited to a feast. You know, just the king, him, and Esther. It's like super, super respect. And he was very happy about that. And the king was very happy because like he was invited to a feast, and it's nice to have drink and have some food and have
Quality time with your wife,
Mhm.
who you haven't seen in a long time.
apparently of your choosing, but I don't know.
Quality family time.
In any case, during the feast, he was like, okay, so I know you didn't just want me to come to a feast, so please ask of me whatever it is that you want, and I will give you up to half my kingdom. And she was like, all I want is for you to come to another feast tomorrow. With Haman. And Charlotte was like, you're such a weirdo. I mean, I should have had like some psych evaluations too when I was doing my choosing process.
Perhaps choosing randomly from a bunch of women you found in your hallway isn't the best marriage advice.
No.
Don't pick up random people from a hallway.
I mean, it's nice, she was beautiful and all and whatever, and she seems like a nice person too, but
get to know them a bit before you just say, hey, good looking.
But
Come
you know,
marry
if they don't see each other for weeks on end, maybe it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Maybe all that matters is that she is beautiful enough to bring him beautiful children or whatever.
You also need them to yeah. You do want your children to be somewhat intelligent as well.
Do you though? Did they
At least
appreciate
one.
intelligence during these times?
Well, they have to be strong, or
Yeah,
you need some.
But maybe they thought
human
back
quality.
then that the guy brings all of the character qualities and the girl is only responsible for the looks. I don't know. He only cared about her being pretty, and that's what he gets. This is so creepy.
I love it. By the way, all these masks are mine. I have all these and more. I fucking love them. I think Adva wants to kill me for introducing her to this.
This is how I'm gonna kill Hadas. Wearing this mask. You know how we talked about the third date being the murder date? That's what this mask is for. Murder. Anyway.
Jesus fuck.
This is fucking creepy. So he was like, fine, I'll go to your stupid second feast.
Yes.
And Haman and the king went home because apparently he needed to go home from his home. And Haman went home, and Haman was like, I'm so fucking pleased. I had the best day ever. And he walked home, and during his walk home, being all pleased and shit, he met Mordechai. And Mordechai would not bow to him as fucking usual. And one was like, oh my god, this just ruined the best day of my life.
I was having such a good day, and then like this dude came along and he wouldn't bow to me, and so everything is like ruined. So like he went like a hair toss and was like, oh my god, this ruined my day. There's like nothing I can do. It's just the worst day ever.
Worst day ever.
Worst day ever.
Mm-mm. Worst day.
So
he went home to his wife, and he was like, and his wife was like, how was your best day ever? And Aman was like, well, it was just fucking ruined by this guy.
this dude.
This dude Mordechai. And so his wife had an advice.
She said, hang him?
Yeah. She said, just, you know, choose the tallest tree of all the trees in, you know, in a reasonable radius. See, I got there in the end. In a reasonable radius, because you know you can't be reasonable about your wife coming to visit you, or you can't be reasonable about how you choose her or whatever. But you have to be reasonable about where you
find the tallest tree.
Mm-hmm.
The tallest tree within a certain radius.
A certain radius.
Reasonable one.
And
Find the tallest tree and hang him
on that tree.
on that tree.
And so everyone will see that that's what happened to the guy who wouldn't bow to you.
Yep.
You know, even just right on his forehead, this guy didn't
Did
bow
not
to
bow.
me.
So
no
now
one
he's on
would
the tree.
see it because it's
On
the
a really
tallest
high
tree.
tree.
So maybe write it on the tree, like on the
the
lower part of. Anyways, that's what she told him to.
So he says, good idea. Excellent. Not only am I planning to kill everyone, all the Jews, I'm going to take this specific one
Mhm.
who started the whole idea. Because of him, I decided that I want to kill all the Jews. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to put him on a really high tree.
And by the way, maybe Haman should have gone to his wife for advice from the start. Because, you know, maybe she wouldn't have given him the advice to kill all the Jews, but just, like, kill Mordechai.
One specific, the person who pissed you off.
Yeah, just kill him in a way that is apparent to everyone. And this whole genocide wouldn't have had to happen. You know, that's a better advice, in my opinion. I'm not saying that all genocide is bad, hashtag not all genocide, but in this specific case, it wasn't necessary, okay? Just, because you see, there's an alternative, a good alternative to that specific genocide. Yes.
Yeah.
But he couldn't wait until the date of the genocide that was randomly chosen. He had to just hang him now because, you know, he can
There's no
mechanism
control.
control. And while all of this was happening, we get the story of what was happening with the king. And on that night,
The king could not sleep.
because he was thinking about how much of a weirdo his wife is, and it kept him awake all night. And he was like, maybe I should have thought this through, but okay, whatever, she's pretty. But he couldn't sleep. The point is that's all that's written. We don't know the reason why he couldn't sleep. Yeah, it happens. So what do you do when you can't sleep? You count sheep. You take an Adderall, a sleeping pill. You do some squats. Actually, that would wake you up. You drink some hot milk, or
You read a book.
you hear a book. You listen to an audio book.
Yes.
That's what I do, by the way. I listen to Harry Potter, read by Stephen Fry. That puts me to sleep. Not because it's boring, just because I know the story so well, and Stephen Fry has a nice voice, and whatever. You know, he had cancer?
No.
Yeah, he just posted about having testicular cancer. He's fine now, but it was a really nice post. He did a video about it, but we like Stephen Fry, and we want him to be alive. Yeah, he is. He's a non-practicing atheist Jew. Not that he's not practicing the atheism. He's not practicing his Judaism. But yeah.
Except for these videos, we don't either.
Yeah, we're more like cultural Jews and ethnic, obviously. But than religious Jews. That's the thing with Judaism. It's an ethnic.
It's an ethnicity and a
religion and a culture if you're living in a Jewish country, as we do. I mean, not all Jewish, but mostly Jewish, for the time being, at least. So you can be any of those three, or all of those three, or any combination of those three, and we're like both from religious families, but we're not religious ourselves. And we're sort of cultural Jews because we kind of do some stuff, like
we go to dinner at our families to not insult them on holidays.
Yeah, cultural,
and make videos about holidays.
Yeah,
and genocide jokes.
Make genocide jokes, make Holocaust jokes, all of that. And we're ethnic Jews because that's not our choice, and we're not religious Jews. But in any case, Stephen Fry is just ethnic Jew.
Yes.
Not a religious or cultural one, I don't think, at least. And we wish him good health.
What were we talking about?
Sleep apnea.
Oh, yeah. All right. So when you can't sleep,
you hear a lullaby, or
you get
an audiobook.
Yes. So the king
was like, I want a book read to me.
Yes.
And I want the most boring book read to me.
So he gets his history book.
The king,
but not like an ancient history. Like a now. Like the book. It's not even a history book. It's like his diary.
Not his diary, like the
like
kingdom's diary.
Yes.
Like a recollection of what's going on, and you may remember this coming up sooner in one of the tangents we went on. Do you?
He wrote down in the book something important.
What did you write in the book?
He opens his book up, and it falls exactly on the page on which he wrote that a few days ago or a week ago. I don't really know the time. That Mordechai.
No, it was a while ago.
That Mordechai saved his life.
I remember there was the plot, and he informed people of the plot, and then he was like, he kind of changed his tune, because before he was just, that's cool, nice, just read it in the book, and now he just felt filled with gratitude. I wanted
Maybe he's just so tired and emotional.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I get emotional when I'm super tired. I can like cry really easily when I'm super tired, and maybe that's how he felt.
Like maybe, he was reading it and he ran out of wine. And it was just too much. And he couldn't cope with it anymore.
It's like, I have to do something about it. I have to reward this guy, Mordechai. But I have to do it now, like now. Because the king, he wasn't that good at gratified satisfaction either. So he called up his most trusted advisor, Haman, in the middle of the night, by the way. We're in the middle of the night and he can't sleep. So he okay, bring me Haman. I need to talk to him right now.
Right now. And so Haman comes. Mm-hmm. And Hashvarosh says to him, listen, there's this dude I like a lot. And I want to do something nice for him.
What? Respect him in the best, way.
What would you do to honor a dude that the king really likes and wants to do something really nice for him? And Haman's like, oh my god. Well,
he's talking about me. Oh my god. It's like
on
you
the
know,
inside he's like, oh my god.
You know how when you wanna ask someone out, you go to the girl and be like, so there's a girl I really like, so I was wondering how I should approach her and how I should tell her that I really like her, and the girl is like, oh my god, he's talking about me, and she's all like, I don't know, she might just like if you be up front with her, and the guy is like, okay, and he goes up to her best friend and be like, or her worst enemy in that case, yes. And be like, hey, want to go out?
Don't give away the plot.
Okay, sorry. So Haman is sure that it's about him.
And he's super excited because he's like, I'm the coolest, people bow to me, everything belongs to me.
And now the king wants to respect me, so I'm gonna give him my wildest dream of respect.
So I don't remember what he asks.
He asks to be dressed in the king's clothes. He doesn't ask for it. He says, so that dude you want to respect, not me, obviously, that other dude we're talking about, you want to respect, you put him in the king's clothes and put him on the king's horse, and you want to take a guy to walk him and to walk next to him and yell, yes. This is what happens for the men the king wants to honor, because the king asked him what should happen for the men the king wants to honor. So he wasn't being exactly creative, but that was the
plan.
The plan. And then Hashvarosh was all like, cool, I like that plan. So why don't you just go ahead and do all of this for Mordechai? Pam, pam, pam! And Haman was like,
shit. I thought this was for me. What am I gonna do? And he crawls up into a little ball on the floor and he has a panic attack because he thought everything was for him, but he doesn't know what to do now, and he thought the king loved him. But he doesn't.
No, he does like him. It just likes Mordechai more at this moment, because so everyone's emotional. The king's emotional, and Haman's emotional, and very soon Mordechai is gonna be very emotional. I don't know why you're crying for that genocidal maniac, because it's not that sad. He's a dick. He's a really big dick.
My eyes tear up when I laugh too much.
Right. Good save.
Yes.
So Haman goes ahead and does that. Yes. Reluctantly, maybe, but he does, because he's a trooper.
King commanded.
Yeah, the king commanded is another explanation for this shit. So he goes ahead and does that same day. So there was the feast, and then during the night, Haman set up the tree to hang Mordechai on, and then the king couldn't sleep, and he called up Haman and told him to do all of the thing, and then the next day he was walking Mordechai down the streets, yelling, the king wants to honor this top bloke, and he goes back home humiliated. Bloody humiliated.
Yes.
Nothing left. He was the empty shell that was known as Haman.
Yes.
Sad And his wife is like, yeah, sorry, love, but Mordechai is a Jew, so he's gonna beat you at every turn. There was some prejudice, you know. Some good, some bad. But that same night, he was still invited to Esther's feast. So, he goes. And what happens on that second feast?
I don't remember.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do. The second feast where she finally says the thing.
Right. It's been a long day. She's like, hey.
Hadas is gone. Bye bye.
She's like, yo, guess what? That's Haman. He wanted to kill all the Jews. I'm Jewish. Don't kill everyone.
So yeah, in the second feast, the king is like, okay, so will you just tell me what you want? Because I like the feasting, but obviously you have an agenda here.
Yes.
And so finally she comes clean and tells him, look, I'm Jewish, my uncle's Jewish, everyone in my family is Jewish, which consists of me and my uncle. But I like a lot of other Jews, like Rebecca from downstairs. She makes me a mean kegel, and
Shlomo from down the road.
Yeah.
He got lost
and
while looking for mushrooms.
then your main man
Haman.
Yeah,
Your
that guy.
main man Haman.
Your main man Haman, he wrote that decree, and you kind of signed that. Well, that's random. Just randomly, we haven't spoken for 2 hours. So he did a decree, a royal decree that says everyone go and kill the Jews, and that is not something that I would like to have happen.
Yes.
And so, and then Achashverosh is like, okay, that's a lot of new information that I need to process right now. I'm gonna go and stroll.
I'm gonna go to my happy place, my safe space.
Yeah, he went for a stroll in the garden. Like literally, he went to a stroll in the garden.
Yeah.
And had a little think. And while he did that, Haman thought, okay, so this is not gonna go well for me. This is really not my day today. Yesterday I thought it was, but then Mordechai ruined it, and today everything is like not going according to plan. So I should use that time where the king goes for a walk to ask Esther for mercy. And so he does. But how does he do it?
He is like on his knees.
Yeah, like next to her
Next
bed.
to her bed.
He goes down on his knees, and right when he does,
The king walks in and he's like, man, what the fuck? You're on your knees on my wife's bed.
like,
That does not look decent.
and then Molly's like, this is not what it looks like! And the stairs.
It's basically like
exactly what it
a
looks
soap,
like.
a soap opera. Like, oh no, Amor, it's not what it looks like.
The original soap opera, The Book of Esther, this summer in theaters.
Yes.
So yeah, and Esther is like, isn't it though? And so Achashverosh is really, really angry. And then this random guy walks in, Charbonne, who has a very unfortunate name. Very, very unfortunate. Kind of sound like wet shit in Hebrew. But he's kind of a
He's not a wet shit.
unwitting hero.
Yes.
Of this part of the story, because he walks in and he says something. You remember what he says? He goes like, "By the way, Your Royal Highness, do you see that really tall tree outside?"
Haman set that tree up for Mordechai
To hang
to
on.
hang him. And
And-
Hashvarosh is like, shit,
Well,
this is not what I planned.
this just fell into my lap though, because it would be a nice punishment to hang Haman on that same tree. They really like those Greek punishments, you know, those irony punishments.
Yes.
Back then in Persia of 500 BC, sort of, because we looked that up in one of our pauses.
Yes.
And so he says, okay, let's hang him on the tree. So, okay, good, we have a punishment for him. We're gonna hang his 10 sons for good measure too.
Yes. But
But,
we sent out this letter to everyone saying, on this day, you kill all the Jews and take all their stuff. And we haven't done anything about that yet.
yeah.
So we should send out another letter.
Because, okay, so the thing is, he was telling Estelle wanted him to cancel it.
Yes.
But he was telling her, I'm sorry, this is a royal decree. And even though I'm the king, I can't cancel it. It's like a law now.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I can't cancel it. But I can
Send out another
another
Decree.
decree, not canceling it, but
letting the Jewish people fight and
fight
fight back and stand up for themselves.
So like there
And so
will
making
be
making it clear that so he can't really cancel the last one. He's making it clear that that wasn't the best idea,
Yeah.
and we're trying to figure out like a way to get around it.
So, like, it would be clear to everyone who read that decree that the king changed his mind, but he can't really punish the people who decide to, you know, slaughter the Jews on that day anyway, because there was the decree allowing it.
Yes.
So, but now at least the Jews can fight back, because apparently before they could not. And that is better than the alternative.
Yes.
It is, right?
Yes.
So that day came, the 13th of Adal, the day of the slaughter. And there was much less slaughter than was expected, because all of the guys that were gonna slaughter the Jews because they were ordered to, sort of, said, okay, that second decree kind of told us that the king really didn't mean it and wanted to take it back, so we're not gonna slaughter the Jews, and we're kind of gonna help them too.
Yes.
But there were some other guys who kind of like to genocide and to slaughter people, and they were like, yeah, but
This is what I was gonna do. What am I gonna do with my afternoon otherwise? I've been planning this forever.
Exactly. I had a nice plan to do, a nice father-son time, or a nice afternoon out of slaughter and genocide, and I'm gonna cancel my plans now. So I'm gonna go and do some of that genocide. I was told to do, allowed to do, whatever. So there was a lot of fighting, and the Jews fought back, and the guys who wanted to help them helped them, and in the end, there were some casualties. Like, a lot of casualties. The Jews didn't have a lot of casualties, but the slaughterers did. Which, I mean, they sort of deserve it, because, like, they wanted to slaughter people, and so, but it's not like a happy ending where everyone lives happily ever after. Like, kind of like, they wanted to kill us, they didn't succeed, also, they all died. So, you get to the end of the book, and you can't exactly be thrilled with how events
outcome,
have
yes.
unfolded. So, yeah.
So yeah, that story
And okay, so after the slaughter or the partial slaughter, all of the Jews celebrated. They had a feast because that's what they do apparently. Yeah, they had a feast, and they sent out food to each other, and they fed the poor, and everyone was like, "Yay! Celebration, happiness, food, drink, yay! We're not dead, and we could have been dead, and we should have been dead if not for God."
Yes.
Apparently, God got involved at some point. They actually don't really talk about God a lot.
It's like Esther is like the hero, Esther and Mordechai are like the heroes of the story, and
but they kind of
really
credit it to God at the
yes,
end.
well, everything. Of course.
But yeah, through the story, God is not mentioned very often. Just on the fasting, they did the 3 days of fasting before she came to the
unusual
king.
for a Jewish holiday story.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird historical story.
Well, we don't know if it's...
So yeah, there is the thing about the history of that, because people did do some research and saw that the descriptions of the palace were matched descriptions of a Persian palace that was actually found. So the person who wrote that obviously knew what they were talking about, and also the descriptions of the people and of all of the participants, they coincided, they correlated with historical descriptions. So some of the story, I mean, the story itself might not be true, but the setting is real.
So basically someone sat around in Shushan and looked around and said, I'm going to write some fan fiction.
Yeah, he kind of wrote a fan fiction about reality. Maybe some of it was a little true, sort of true. Maybe he kind of got inspired by or exaggerated something that is very similar to Game of Thrones. That's not history, but it's kind of based on what was happening. Anyway, we don't really know if it's in any way accurate. Probably not, but it's based on some real stuff.
Yeah. But if there's an opportunity to drink and eat, we'll take it.
Mm-hmm. We will.
So, they hang Haman and his kids.
Yeah, they do.
And
his
they
wife.
all, and his wife. And the Jews are all like, cool.
Awesome.
And because we were not killed on this day, we have all this food and drink, and we give everyone other things. And so today, what do we do for Purim?
Okay, so the main issue about Purim is how their fate, the fate of the Jews, was flipped. So the holiday is all about changing and flipping and making something into something else. And this is why we wear costumes, to change, to flip, to be because instead of being the worst day of their lives, they were actually saved. So it's like one thing and it's opposite. So we're supposed to like wear costumes that are the opposite of us, but obviously,
which is why we've been putting on all these things, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, we're kind of wearing costumes. So in this sense, it's kind of like Halloween because we wear costumes.
Yes.
But there are also other customs. This time I'm gonna say it right. Customs. That we do on that holiday.
So we give each other baskets of, mostly, it's usually like sweets and things, as giving like gifts to, it's sort of like a feast. So it's giving other people food so that they might have a feast
upon them.
Feast upon them. And there's and you're also supposed to give to the less fortunate than you, so that they can have a feast as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we eat gross cookies.
Yeah, and which we didn't bring with us
Because they're gross.
because nobody wants to eat those really. And they're called
Oznei Haman, or Hamantaschen,
which
in Yiddish.
literally mean
The ear of Haman.
the ear of a man.
But it doesn't look like an ear.
It kind of looks like something else.
Like this.
Yeah, it has like a thingy inside, and like, yeah. So we eat a lot of pubes, or pubic shaped food, and we don't because it's gross, but it's customary to eat it.
Yes.
And also, we read the Book of Esther every year in the synagogue. We read the entire Book of Esther. And there's a really, really silly custom.
Custom.
Tradition.
Every time the name
Haman
of Haman is
is
said,
mentioned in the book.
you have to make a ton of noise.
Yeah, there's noisemakers, you know, so you have to use your noisemakers, or just clap really hard, or like
So-
scream at the top of your lungs, or whatever. Make a lot of noise whenever his name is mentioned in the reading of the book in the synagogue.
Yes.
So it's kind of fun.
It's kind of annoying.
And I mean, it's annoying, but it kind of forces you to pay attention,
Yes.
because you need to concentrate and
Yes.
notice when his name is mentioned.
Well, I haven't been at a reading in about more than 15 years. So,
Good for you then. Yeah, we've kind of brushed up on the material before, because I haven't been in a while either. Maybe not 15 years, but a while. But if you're a religious Jew, you hear that story every year.
yes, so you'd hear that story every year. And also, as part of the feast, the concept of technically feasting, but not actually, we drink a lot.
I mean, it's kind of, we have to. It's kind of God
It's
said.
yeah, it's part of like the traditions of the holiday, and the definition is that you need to drink until you don't know.
And the full sentence.
There's no full sentence.
Is until you don't know, until you can tell if it's, you can't tell the difference between
Haman.
Dem Haman or Blessed Mordechai.
Yes.
That's the sentence. But we just shorten it to until you don't know.
Yeah. But then also a lot of like the parties today in different cities are called Adloyada, which is until you didn't know. And yeah, so that's basically the holiday, and people get dressed up.
And
go
there's
to
a
parties,
parade,
and
the
there's parades.
Adloyada parade, which is really scary, seriously. Like, a lot of people in costumes and costumes this time.
Yeah, we'll include some
Footage, maybe, if I dare go there, because I might be too scared, because there's, like, not just people in costumes, there's just a lot of, like,
yeah, dolls.
thingy dolls with heads and vehicles with heads, and everything is kind of eerie, and yeah.
And I'll go to every year. There's a big street party in the neighborhood, and a lot of people come from the Holon one with their dolls and then bring them to here. But basically, people wear stupid things and drink and dance around in the street. And it's not so bad if it's not too crowded.
Yeah, basically we party not being genocided that time. Sorry. Like in about, I think, a month from now or a month and a half from now, it's Holocaust Day, in which we party, yes, being genocided. I mean, we won't exactly party. We kind of are sad. It's a Memorial Day for
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
No.
It's I mean, we can laugh about it, but
Yeah.
it's a Memorial Day for that time they did genocide. Like not
The
us
one time they did
specifically, but kind of our
At one time
grandparents.
they did succeed.
So yeah, then we don't drink or
No.
eat.
Or
I mean, we do
or-
drink
or
or
make
eat. It's
silly
not-
videos
No,
about it.
we're not gonna make a silly videos of it.
Absolutely not.
Jesus.
What's that so? Sorry, I'm gonna put a mask on. וואי, אני מתה. סליחה, אני עדיין מה זה. אוי, זה יותר גרוע מהזה של ולנטיינס. אפשר גם לראות אותו.
אני פורים, שמח ומבדח, הלא רק פעם בשנה, כל להתארח.
My sun and stars.
I am the blood of the dragon. I am the blood of the dragon. I will not be defeated by Haman.